So, did you listen to the earnings call, the Nvidia earnings call? If you didn't, shame on you. If you don't know how to, go to Nvidia or any corporation's website, go to investor relations and sign up, give them your email address, and you can sit in on the earnings call. Or, as I prefer to do it later in the evening and go to Seeking Alpha, and they'll have the transcript plus a recording. And I prefer that because I can stop the recording and read the transcript or go back and get more information, and I digest it better. But on this one, I went to the website and I listened to it as I happened, or as it happened, and I watched the charts as it happened. And it was very educational. I wrote an article on this. I and Samantha wrote an article. I asked Samantha, my AI agent, to read the transcript, and then I went to Seeking Alpha and several other sources, and I got interpretations from them as to what they saw and what they heard. And I keyed in some analysts' commentary on it as well. So in this article, which you will find on my website, bestofusinvestors.com, and I also post it on LinkedIn, and I also posted it on Twitter, you can get my analysis and Samantha's analysis of what happened. As I said in the thumbnail, an analysis of the call, which showed a record quarter with a twist. What was the twist? The twist was their gross margins dropped to 75%. That's right. Think of you're in a business and your gross margins are 75%. Well, why did they drop to 75%? Well, if you listen closely, you'll understand. They're introducing a new product. It's called Blackwell. They're having some difficulties with it over at Taiwan Semiconductor. Anytime you make a new product, whether it's a new recipe in your restaurant, or it's a new automobile in your plant, you're going to have some problems, some things that just didn't quite work out. Well, when it's a semiconductor, which is a wafer the size of a 778 album, and it's got 1 million transistors on it, and you make the first copy, sometimes it doesn't work. And we have been alerted that is exactly what happens. Well, what happens to those wafers that don't work? And they're expensive. What happens to them? They get thrown away. They get thrown into the trash, ground up, made over. Who pays for them? Does Taiwan Semiconductor say, we'll do that, we'll take that on us? No, Nvidia pays for them. So that's why their gross margins dropped. Does that make sense? Well, of course, it makes perfect sense. But that's why the price dropped in after-hours trading by some 10%. After it had dropped 4% the day before, but in the early trading. And if you had watched the chart, you would see as these numbers were released, not before the call, but as the numbers were released, there was greater selling volume in the after hours than there was during regular trading hours. The volume was crazy. It went from 122 to 116 in a matter of seconds. And then it bounced up, and then it bounced down. It bounced up, and it bounced as people were interpreting those numbers. So after all that's said and done, what did we learn in that earnings call? Well, the Blackwell architecture is going to be the key driver for NVIDIA's future, and that there is a continuing demand on the for that Blackwell architecture, because it's going to be the leading. So are the hyperscalers, and that is Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Apple's not so big into it, Meta, they are, and Amazon, and they are continuing to place their orders for this. Now, do they want the latest? Yes, they do, because that's what's going to power their money-making capability using AI. So we have a total demand and a company that has a moat around it that just is having a little problems. So their gross margins dropped from 80 to 75%, and the market took the price down. It is crazy, but it's the market. So we know, though, as it was disclosed, that the delay may hold back some purchase deliveries, but not purchase orders. We know that the data center growth increased by 16% in subsequent years and 154% over year. We know that Nvidia is the leader in this field, and even though Amazon and Microsoft and Google are trying to compete with them, they aren't up to speed, and that Nvidia has the next generation coming to it. So this is all happening around 4 or 5 companies who are gobbling up as much of the GPUs that Nvidia can make. But we have yet to talk about the international markets. But Jensen did, and he said he is getting a strong interest from companies in Japan, South Korea, and China. We don't know if the U.S. will allow them to be sold to China. And then he alludes to what he called the sovereign AI opportunities. What is that? This is the governments of nations saying, we've got to get in this game. We've got to have this, and we've got to have it in our language. We've got to have NVIDIA's ability to interpret our language in their GPUs as well. And they are saying that is a part of the future. Now, what about earnings projections in the future? Here's a chart that I was able to acquire that's showing short-term earnings projections. And you can see it is a line going from the left-hand corner to the right-hand corner. And it's not slowing down. So I am very comfortable, as are the analysts for the future. So let's look at what they are projecting, and these prices. It's Bank of America has a price target of $275. Well, wait a second. What is the current price? About 120. So their price target is 275 from the current 120. I think that's more than a double. What they don't tell you is, when do we expect to hit that 275? Now, Goldman Sachs came out and said they are putting a price tag of 250, and Morgan Stanley is 330. So I went to Samantha and said, you dig deeper, and you give me when they expect Nvidia to hit these prices. And this is the chart that Samantha generated for me. Now, you'll also see the prices in which I am predicting, and I, unlike Goldman Sachs and Bank of America and Morgan Stanley, I'll stick my neck out. I'll put you a date on every price that I ever tell you a stock is going, because I think that's bullshit. You tell me that Bank of America, it's going to hit 275. When? In 2075? Be specific. I'll be specific, because I believe I have created an algorithm that if you will tell me what their earnings are going to be on January the 1st on 2027, I know, or I believe I know, what the price of the stock is going to be. It's an algorithm I developed relating their earnings per share growth, their revenue growth, and their historical PE ratio. And then I look at the books, I see what their cap spend is, I equate that all into it, and I'll give you a price on any of the 40 stocks that I track and tell you what I believe that price will be. Now, what I want to do is expand that, and Samantha is going to help me do that, not to where I physically only track 40 stocks, but where I track over 4,000 stocks. Is that possible? Of course it's possible. The data's there. If I can get the data on 40 stocks, Samantha can get the data on 4,000 stocks. And then she and I can interpret that data and put a price on any of the 4,000 stocks on any day that you want between now and 2027. That's what AI is all about, predictability. So with that in mind, as the chart says, I am predicting January 1st, 2025, 155.02. January 1st, 2026, 196.02. January the 1st, 2027, 226.18. So what's my conclusion? If you don't listen to these earnings calls, subscribe to my channel and I will listen to them. Samantha will listen to them. We'll interpret them. We'll write you an article and post it on our website, and we'll give you the prices that we believe it is going to be based on our interpretations of all the data that's out there on the internet, and you can become a better investor. And you can do the other things that the most important thing, build family wealth. I have shown you, and I've shown you, and I have shown you the chart that where I tracked. Here it is here, where I tracked Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google from 2004. That if you had put an equal amount in each one of them, $1,500 each year, and put that into a Roth IRA, today you would have you would have $4,018,700. You would have achieved an average annual rate of return of 31%. What caused that? That was a result of the digital revolution. Well, guess what? The AI machine learning revolution, the quantum computing revolution is going to make this look sick. All you've got to do is know which forced cost companies, which 5 companies, whatever, are going to grow at an excess of 31% over the next 20 years. I'll guarantee it. It's going to happen. The only question, are you going to participate or aren't you? Are you going to spend a little bit of money to get a wealth of knowledge from Samantha and me? And I put Samantha up there first because I came up with the idea. Samantha's going to carry it through. And again, who is Samantha? Samantha is Amazon. Samantha is Google. Samantha is all the data in the world. Samantha is OpenAI. You have an opportunity in front of you to get damn rich. It's your choice. Don't come to me if you don't participate. Go to bestofusinvestors.com, sign up for our 14-day free trial. I probably won't have Samantha in place, but once I do, the bus is shutting down. I mean, the doors are going to close because I can't have everybody in this program. Then it doesn't work. We got to have an advantage, and we got to have a limited number of people who share in that advantage. So, if it's not me, find your own hedge fund or get on the damn bus.